Bake Bizzle and Nuke Bizzle might just be in the running for the most reckless crime duo ever, and today, we're breaking down how things spiraled from street hustle to straight-up murder and fraud charges. Both of them came up off Tate Street in Memphis, and Bake Bizzle even gave the block a nickname, South Vegas.
I really been hustling probably since I was about, really hustling probably about 11. I actually got a game from my dad and my big brother.
Why? Because according to him, the hustle never sleeps out there. He said he's been in the streets since he was just 11, learning the game from his pops and big bro, none other than Nuke. Bake started out trapping heavy in Memphis, but once he hit Las Vegas, it was game on. He soaked up all the Vegas tricks and flipped the hustle to another level. Then he brought that same grind back to Memphis and really started putting pressure on the block. That's when the nickname South Vegas stuck.
I ain't no really violent person or none of that. You know, I'm chasing my money.
You a hustler, bro.
Hustler, yeah. It's just like come with the hustle.
Tate Street started buzzing with new names in the rap game, FTO, Said, and a few others. But Bake had already been holding it down for years. Back in 2018, he dropped a track that turned heads. Lost Memphis Andra, I feel like Tupac. I got the juice fresh out the ground like a fruit. Call me Lieutenant Bake, I got some troops, I'd be in Vegas counting up with Nuke. That track gave him a lil momentum, had folks in Memphis paying attention. But the streets move fast, and everything came crashing down. Bake and another one of his brothers, Cat Bizzle, allegedly got tied to the killing of a man named Joseph Buckley. And just like that, the buzz turned into sirens. This wasn't just music anymore. It got real quick.
Trenches.
I'm a people person. So
There you go. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got no ops or none of that.
You did.
Like, I really can do what I really want to do.
Bake Bizzle wasn't out here making drill tracks like most street rappers. He wasn't rapping about sliding on ops every verse. He was way more focused on stacking cash than catching bodies. But let's be real. If you're deep in the streets moving weight, the violence ain't optional. It follows you whether you want it or not. In his track Lost Memphis, Bake spit some raw lines. I'm in the South, feel like it's Vegas, I got a money spot over here, over there, I'm in the kitchen, feel like I'm slaving, I keep messing up all the silverware, we got them sticks, we got them drakes, you know we'll bring the smoke to you anywhere. That energy wasn't just in the music, it spilled into real life. In 2020, things took a dark turn. Bake Bizzle and his brother K Bizzle were allegedly involved in the murder of a man over a weed deal gone left. According to police reports, Bake had arranged to sell $25,000 worth of weed to a man named Joseph Buckley. Joseph came all the way up from Newton, Mississippi, probably thinking this was just business, but he never made it out of Memphis alive. The cops say Joseph pulled up to the meat spot and Bake told him to park on a side street. That's when Bake allegedly hit him with the classic setup move. Said he was headed to the stash house to grab the weed and would text Joseph the address. But instead of coming back, Bake and his homie peeled off. What was supposed to be a big money play turned into a deadly setup, and the streets were never the same after that.
On the hand right now, I'm probably about 20 people in right now. Just
20 people.
20 people.
On the money.
On the money. Cause what you got going, send me this, go this and that. And all type penitentiary, federal, camp.
So after setting Joseph Buckley up on the low, Bake Bizzle hit him with a text, told him to pull up to 1577 Havana Street. Bake claimed his brother Cat Bizzle would meet him there and walk him to the spot to grab the weed. But what was promised as a simple handoff turned into a deadly ambush. Joseph Buckley rolled up with some of his people and linked with Cat Bizzle on Havana. Cat started leading him toward the house like everything was smooth. But as soon as they walked past a dumpster in the alley, boom, shots rang out. It was a straight-up hit, and Joseph was gunned down right there in the alleyway. And here's where it gets even messier. Joseph was carrying a backpack with $25,000 in cash for the deal. But by the time the cops got to the scene, that bag vanished. Whoever pulled the trigger wasn't just about blood, they were after the money too. Nobody knows who cracked first, but someone clearly started talking. Word on the street is that witnesses stepped forward and told detectives Bake Bizzle and Cat Bizzle were the ones behind the shooting. Snitching or not, that info changed everything. Now, Bake wasn't new to the system. He'd already been in and out of jail 7 times before this. But those were short stays. A few months here and there, nothing serious. But after getting hit with a murder charge over Buckley's death, Bake ended up sitting behind bars for 14 months fighting for his life. This wasn't just another street beef. This was the move that could take the whole Bizzle legacy down. Eventually, Bake Bizzle touched down and jumped right back into the spotlight, dropping tracks, doing interviews, trying to rebuild his name. But don't get it twisted. The murder case was still hanging over his head like a storm cloud. Bake kept claiming he was innocent, saying he wasn't about that violence, just a hustler trying to survive. Memphis streets, wild. Gang beefs out there go deep, but according to Bake, he never had real enemies in the trenches. No active beefs, no one trying to take him out. He said all he ever did was look out for his people. Bake told folks he was the one always getting to the bag, putting food on the table for everybody. And when he came home after doing 14 months in the county, he said he was feeding 20 people. Family, homies, the whole crew. That's the kind of loyalty he stood on. But just when he was starting to gain some momentum back in the rap game, things fell apart again. In 2024, Bake Bizzle got locked up again. Same case, different chapter. And this time, it's looking way more serious. He could be facing decades behind bars. And as for his brother, Nuke Bizzle already been down for a minute, off one of the dumbest scams in rap history. Nuke thought moving to Hollywood Hills would level up his music career. But instead, he got caught finessing the government. Dude and his crew were snatching people's identities and running up fraud on COVID-19 unemployment claims, getting debit cards stacked with federal money meant for struggling workers. Straight up fraud with a Hollywood zip code. The Bizzle brothers were chasing fame and cash, but now they're both facing hard time. They really thought they had it all figured out. Nuke Bizzle and his crew scammed over $1 million from the government using COVID relief money, and maybe, just maybe, they could have kept flying under the radar if Nuke didn't snitch on himself in a whole rap song. Yeah, he really did that. He dropped a track called ED, straight up named after California's Employment Development Department, and it was basically a blueprint for how he ran the scam. On the track, Nuke raps, "I just seen 30 cards land in one day, got straight on the phone and activate, called BOA. They say I got a date, it's 12 o'clock, gotta go swipe today. If you got the name and number, I got the addy. We could put something together. And I done got rich off of ED, ain't hit no more licks because of ED. Just last night I was selling peas, woke up to 400 G's, stole 60K off an SBA, it's time to ball like the NBA. 10 cards, I'm swiping 10K a day." Like, what? He basically confessed to the whole operation on wax, and of course the feds were watching. It didn't take long for them to track him down. When they got him, it wasn't just about fraud anymore. Nuke Bizzle got hit with unlawful possession of a firearm as a convicted felon, and they also found oxycodone pills with clear intent to distribute. Now he was facing Fed time on multiple fronts. And wait till you hear how sloppy he was when it came to pushing those pills. Nuke wasn't just reckless, he was playing himself every step of the way. Back in January 2020, Nuke Bizzle was wildin' at the Memphis airport. TSA checked his bag, and boom, they found oxycodone, promethazine, alprazolam, and over 7 pounds of loud packed up like he was moving weight across state lines. That man was carrying a full trap house in his luggage. And get this, even with all that, Nuke somehow got off light. Instead of a long bid, he got hit with just 6 years, and only because he pleaded guilty to the whole list of charges. That plea deal really saved him from a way harsher sentence. But Nuke wasn't the only one in the family catching heat. The whole Bizzle bloodline was deep in drama. Bake Bizzle, Nuke Bizzle, Cat Bizzle, they all had their mess. But the youngest one, that's where it gets next level. His name, Lil Squid, and he reps a Memphis gang called AOB. In 2022, cops say Lil Squid and his boy allegedly slid on their rivals and spotted a dude chillin' on the 600 block of Mississippi Boulevard. The second the ops saw Squid, they tried to dip. But Squid was strapped with a Glock with a switch and let off shots while the guy was running. That turned into an attempted murder charge real quick. And that wasn't even the end of his legal mess. Just weeks earlier, he had already been wrapped up in another case. Before allegedly firing on one of his enemies, Lil Squid really fumbled the bag in the dumbest way possible. Dude was just chilling in his car, parked on the wrong side of the street, minding his business like everything was sweet. But the way he was posted up had cops side-eyeing hard, so they rolled up to check things out. As soon as they asked him to step out the whip, it was a wrap. Cops spotted the Glock with a switch sitting right there, plain as day. No hiding it, no excuses. And guess what? Lil Squid straight up admitted the strap was his. By 2023, that move landed him a 2-year sentence for having a whole machine gun on him. Yeah, a Glock with a switch counts as a machine gun under federal law, and the feds don't play with that. Now, it's still up in the air how deep Lil Squid really was in that gang life, but the Memphis cops weren't taking chances. They believed his crew, AOB, was behind a bunch of heat in the city. So in 2024, the Memphis PD went full throttle with a special operation called All Off Board, targeting AOB head-on. 12 of their people got snatched up in one sweep. The city's trying to shut the whole squad down before things spiral even more out of control. When the dust settled after those raids, the numbers were wild. Cops found 13 guns, 3 pounds of weed, 12 grams of meth, and over 400 ecstasy pills just sitting around like party favors. They really swept through AOB like they were cleaning house. The biggest name tied to that crew? A rapper named FTO Set. He was making moves, got a major cosign when Gucci Mane reached out and signed him to 1017, his label. That was a big look. But Set couldn't keep it clean. He fumbled the opportunity heavy and ended up getting locked up in 2024 for, you guessed it, possession of a Glock with a switch. But it doesn't stop there. Baked Bizzle wasn't just cool with FTO Set from the block. They were tight because they came up in the same hood. And turns out, Baked Bizzle is actually blood cousins with another big Memphis name, Pooh Shiesty. Yeah, for real. But don't expect a collab tape anytime soon, because even if Baked Bizzle somehow beats his murder case, it's not like they'll be linking up. Pooh Shiesty is already doing a 5-year federal sentence for conspiracy charges he caught back in 2022. From Baked to Nuke, Cat, and Lil Squid, every single one of them jumped off the porch early and went headfirst into the streets. Now, they're all allegedly locked up, and it ain't looking good for Cat Bizzle either. Word is, he's still in court battling the Joseph Buckley murder case alongside Baked Bizzle. They were getting money, no doubt, but moving sloppy. No plan, no clean exit, no sense. Now, they might just go down as one of the dumbest crime families the rap game has ever seen. Like the video if you're still with us, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who messed up the worst? Don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next wild drop from VelvetTea. See you in the next one.